EBC has been on an aggressive campaign to educate the voter that started this week. Joining me now in studio is Joyce Ekuwam. She is a voter education manager at the IEBC. To explain this whole process, we have less than 2 weeks to go to election day, Joyce, and there's a lot of concern, at least even from the voters, how this process is going to go. Let's begin from the documents that a voter would need as they're coming to the polling station. What would they need to have with them?
Thank you so much. A voter on that particular day will be requiring to come with the original ID card or Kenyan passport, the document that one used to register as a voter. Okay. Those two documents.
Okay.
Yes.
Would they need to come with the voter card as well, the IEBC card?
No, that was just an acknowledgement that we were giving a voter after registration as an indication that yes, we have received your request for registration and we have already registered you. So an acknowledgement slip will not be needed on that particular day because the voters' details are already captured in the register of voters.
Okay. Okay, so now once they've come into the polling station, they have their documentation. What happens? They hand it over to the officer?
Yes. Once the voter comes into the polling station, they will be required to submit the ID number or the Kenyan passport to the first clerk. And the first clerk will be able to check the fingers, whether there is any markings as an evidence of a voter having voted. And the voter will go next to being identified using the Kenya Integrated Electoral Management System by a fingerprint. Okay. And if in case the voter has a problem with the fingerprints, then the commission has put in place measures to ensure that that voter will be identified by the use of ID number or the passport number. Okay. So basically what we are emphasizing is that once a voter, if a voter is actually registered and is in the KIMS kit, we will identify that voter using the fingerprint biometrically or by an ID number or his passport number.
Okay, so once that has been done, they've been verified, and now they get the ballot papers.
Yes.
What do they look like? And you actually have some in your hand right now.
Yes, we have 6 ballot papers, and sample of which I have on studio now. Yes. We have a white ballot paper for the presidential election. Okay. Then we'll be having the green one as well, indicating that this is for the national member of the National Assembly. Right. And the yellow one is for the senatorial election. Then the blue one will be for the governor, and the purple one will be for the woman member to the National Assembly. And lastly, we'll be having the beige one for the member of the county assembly. Okay. So we'll be having 6 ballot papers in distinct colors.
Okay.
Yes.
Now you mentioned it's going to say member of National Assembly. Some voters will come in thinking it will be member of Parliament or MP.
Yes. Yes.
So what will it actually say, at least for the member of National Assembly?
We usually use the names that are indicated in law. It's member to the National Assembly.
So it will be MNA.
MNA.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And the coloring of these ballot papers are corresponding with the leads we see here for the ballot boxes. So what we mean is that the white ballot paper corresponds with the lead of the presidential ballot box. Okay. And goes like that: the green, the beige, the yellow, the purple for the woman member to the National Assembly, and lastly the blue one for the governor.
Okay, so let's get to a very important part of this, marking the ballot. And this is also why you're having the voter education, because of the issue of spoiled ballots. How does one properly mark the ballot?
Thank you so much, Rubariri, for that question. There are several marks that are allowed in law to be used. One of those marks is a tick. The next one is an X. A voter may also use a dash or a full stop kind of, so long as it's visible. And then we encourage the voters to put that mark, whichever mark they choose, in the rightful place. For example, we have in the ballot paper, there is a special place for for that mark.
Okay.
Actually, on the far right of the ballot paper, we have a special place for that mark. So a voter may actually put a tick, for example, like what I am doing here now, on the right place, like this, or they can also mark the party symbol. Okay. The party symbol, like this one. Now you can have a voter marking or putting a tick on the party symbol, like this one, and that will count as a vote.
Okay.
Or the voter can also put a mark on the face, on the photo of the preferred candidate.
Okay.
Okay. And all those are actually acceptable as correctly marked ballot papers.
And there was an issue because we saw a lot of instructions going around saying you can put a tick with the candidate of choice, an X with the candidate you don't want. What happens then?
Yes, there is always that conventional knowledge that we are taught in school, that an X will always be wrong, a tick will always be right. But what we emphasize is that whichever mark you choose, either a tick or an X, that will be acceptable, so long as it's only one mark on the ballot paper, on each ballot paper. Now, there's a lot of falsehoods going around, because I know the political environment is very, very dynamic, very slippery. And the mandate of the commission is to equip the voter with the knowledge, with the skills, and even the right attitude to come out to vote. And therefore, any other information that is against the idea of putting one mark at a time should be ignored by the voter.
Okay.
Yes.
So once they're done, for instance, if someone spoils a ballot, can they get a replacement ballot?
Yes. Thank you very much for that question. Now, once a ballot is spoiled, a spoiled ballot is the one that, upon recognition that a voter has done a mistake in marking the ballot, does not cast that ballot. It does not go into the ballot box. So once a voter recognizes that, okay, I really was for Rubadiri, but by mistake I've gone to mark somebody else, that voter has a chance to go take back that spoiled paper to the clerk for replacement.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Then
so that is allowable in law.
Okay. And once they're done, do you fold the ballot paper before placing it in the ballot box? How does that process go?
As you can see, this sample ballot paper is marked at is stamped at the back.
Okay.
We usually fold this ballot paper horizontally.
Okay.
Horizontally. Why? Because once a voter has, just to show a voter how it should be like after marking, and to avoid the fact that once a voter has put a mark here, if it's not, for example, folded horizontally like this, this mark could go into another candidate's space. And that ballot in such a case becomes rejected once it is cast. So we fold the paper horizontally to enable that in case we mark here, it just goes to the same space for the same candidate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so once they put it into the ballot box, it's time to exit. Some people may ask, is it okay for me to share who I voted for if I took a picture of the ballot paper? Can I do that?
Now, the secrecy of the ballot is something that is put clearly in law. And casting a vote is secret. It's a personal choice that you decide even before coming to the polling station that I'm voting for a particular candidate, and no one else should know your choice. And that's why you're saying no taking of photographs, no sharing of anything from what is happening in the polling station and things like that, because everything else that is against what is written in the law is punishable by law. And we're saying let's maintain the secrecy of the ballot.
So discretion is advised after that. So once you're done voting, you put your ballots in the ballot box, you're leaving the polling station, there's something else that happens.
Yes. Once you cast the last ballot, which is the gubernatorial election ballot, your small finger is usually marked with indelible ink,
Right.
to ensure that you don't come back again or even go to another polling station to seek another chance to cast another ballot.
Okay.
So we mark the small finger with indelible ink before we ease out the voter from the polling station.
Okay, thank you so much,
Yes.
Joyce. That's all the time we have.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
this has been very helpful. If anyone desires to get more of this information, can they go online to the IEBC website?
Yes, we have a Twitter handle, we have IBC website, and we have IBC Facebook. We are interactive in those social platforms.
Okay, great. Thank you, Joyce Ekwam,
Thank you.
joining us in studio and giving us a demonstration on what is expected on election day from you, the voter, when you cast your vote.